Hi everybody, hope that you're doing well. As you can see, I'm home. Rocky and I are both home. We got in around 6:30. We're both exhausted. I'm actually drinking coffee now to help with that. I never drink coffee this late. Neither of us have unpacked, but we are here, we are home, we are happy. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that this vlog is pretty dang special because it's the last vlog in my Vermont Burlesque Festival vlog series. It's really bittersweet. I honestly can't believe that the vlogs are coming to an end. It was such a crazy but really fun experience doing the vlogs, and I really wanted to make this one special. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that this vlog is particularly special because I wrote out a whole outline for it. I made notes about stuff I want to talk about, and I have never ever done that with any of these other vlogs. There's a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. The first thing I want to talk about is how my overall experience of vlogging was, because the thing is, I have never done a proper vlog before, ever. I have my acted out videos on this channel, and I have my act teasers. I'm not unfamiliar with sitting down in front of the camera, talking, editing, making videos, but I'd never done a proper vlog. And that was kind of intimidating. I had no clue where it was gonna go, what I was gonna talk about when I first decided to do it. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to keep a consistent schedule because, as you've seen in the vlogs, my life is crazy. I don't always have a ton of free time to sit down, film stuff, edit videos. I had no idea what was gonna happen when I first set out to do this, but I'm really happy that I was able to keep things consistent. I was happy that I got as much footage as I did in it. I'm really glad that as I went on with vlogging, I learned a little bit more about editing, adding sound effects, other effects to my videos. Again, it's not perfect by any means. I'm never gonna be like the best video editor in the world, but overall I'm really happy with how the vlogs turned out. Vlogging every day leading up to the festival also taught me a lot about just being comfortable making mistakes on camera and not editing them out. There would be plenty of times when I would be filming vlogs and worry about, oh my god, am I rambling? Am I making sense? Am I speaking clearly enough? What am I gonna do? And I also had plenty of moments where I thought, oh god, do I really wanna show everybody on the internet how I look in the morning with my hair in a messy bun, in my PJs and my glasses, no showering, nothing at all like that? Do I really want people to see that? And as I vlogged each day, I got more and more comfortable doing that. Right now, I look like a total mess. My hair is totally messy from being on the train for as long as I was. No makeup on whatsoever. I know I look totally tired, but honestly, I feel okay with sharing that with everybody. Do I wish that I maybe looked a little bit more polished? Sure. Were there times that I also stopped and decided to exclude stuff from the vlogs because it didn't turn out great? Yes. This is actually the second time I'm trying to film the entire vlog from start to finish. Just thought I'd share that. Vlogging was an overall pretty positive experience, and I'm glad that I decided to do it. One of the things I also wanted to touch on in this vlog was comparing my experience last year at the festival with this year's. And I wanted to share last year's experience for a couple of reasons. The first is that I've never really talked about my experience at the Vermont Burlesque Festival before on this channel. I haven't really talked about it in an acted out video or anywhere else. And I think that's kind of weird because I usually share pretty big moments in my burlesque life on this channel. So I gotta do that. I first found out about the Vermont Burlesque Festival online. I don't remember if I found out about it through Facebook or just a search for like burlesque festivals to attend, but I did find out about it online and I thought, oh, this looks really cool. Should I submit for it? I don't know. Well, I've got some pretty good acts. I'm still kind of new to burlesque, but why not? Let's see what happens. So I submitted for it, and in October of 2022, I found out that I had gotten in. And I was so excited. I felt like I've accomplished something. I haven't even been in burlesque for very long and I'm doing it. This is so, so cool. And I didn't make any big plans to go up to Vermont or to travel then, but I was having all of those good thoughts of, ooh, I wonder what the festival's gonna be like. Who am I gonna meet? How's my performance gonna go? All of those fun little mental pictures and fantasies that you have whenever an opportunity like this comes your way. That said, most of you who know me in real life know that the ending of 2022 going into 2023 was not a very easy time for me. I mentioned in another vlog, I don't remember which one it was, but I did mention in another vlog in this series that I have obsessive compulsive disorder. And from November of 2022 to about mid-February of 2023, I was really suffering with my OCD symptoms. I went through an awful, awful relapse. One of the worst I've ever experienced. I had been okay up until then for about, I want to say like 3.5 years, but my symptoms came back with a vengeance in November, and they lasted a really, really long time. Just to give you all kind of a basic rundown of what I was going through, I was experiencing intrusive thoughts 24/7, compulsions 24/7, just completely cycling through all of the worst fears, all of the OCD related fears. I was stuck. There's no other way of putting it. And it was wreaking havoc on my body. I was not sleeping. There would be nights I would just be lying in bed, staring up at the ceiling, trying so hard to fall asleep, but my anxiety was just skyrocketing, and it wasn't good. I could barely eat. I was trying my hardest to eat, but it felt like every bite of food just wouldn't go down. The anxiety just was wreaking havoc on that. I lost all appetite. What other symptoms? My chest was perpetually tight. I had a really bad headache too. My entire body ached from all the anxiety that I was experiencing. My shoulders got super tight. My jaw was tight too. I felt like my tongue had been dipped in seltzer. I just was not doing well. I was also experiencing a lot of moments of depersonalization, which is not fun at all, and just horrible, awful panic attacks. I remember there was one night in particular where I had a panic attack so bad that I collapsed from it at home, and Rocky had to pick me up off of the floor because of it. All the while this was happening, I was just hoping and praying that my symptoms were going to get better before I went to the festival, but they didn't. And I seriously considered pulling out, dropping out, because I didn't want to go to a new place in that bad of a mental state. I honestly didn't know what to do at the time, but I remember talking with my therapist and a few other people in my OCD support circle. They really encouraged me to go and to try. Last year when I did the festival, I only stayed for one day. I remember I came home, I think either 2 days or the day before I was supposed to perform, home to Oneonta, New York. And then my parents drove me to Vermont from there. And the whole experience of that was not too good. The night before they drove me up, I didn't sleep, having panic attacks constantly, just completely drained. The next day, when I got in the car, we were driving for about an hour before I had another panic attack, one in which I started gagging, dry heaving really, really bad. It was not pretty. And I remember when we did finally get to Vermont, just being in the hotel room thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna get through this? How on earth am I ever going to perform tonight? Eventually tech came, the tech times came, and I had to go do tech for my number. And all I'm thinking is, please, please, please don't let this anxiety get bad. Don't let it affect me to the point where I can't perform. Let me just get through tech. Please don't let me faint or have any other bad reactions to the anxiety. And somehow I did it. I got through it. And then when it was time to perform in the show, I managed to get through it, and I managed to give a solid performance. Looking back on all of the photos and videos from that time, sometimes I'm even surprised that I was going through a really bad relapse of my OCD symptoms, because I feel like I did a good job of hiding it, which I don't know if I'm necessarily proud of, but I am proud ultimately that I still made the choice to perform, to do something that I love to do, even though I knew I wasn't going to be completely at my best mentally. Now, all of that said, I did have a good experience overall. Even though I wasn't in the best mental state, I met a lot of really nice people. I loved being downstairs in the dressing room, getting to meet people, interact with them. I loved the performing part of it. I had a great time in Vermont too. As you can see from my other vlogs, I think Burlington is beautiful. It was a good experience, even though I wasn't feeling my best. So then when applications opened up in 2023 for the festival this year, I did kind of have a little bit of a moment of, oh my God, remember how you were last year? What if that happens again this year? Do you really think you can do this? But a big part of me also knew that I had come a lot farther with my recovery, with my OCD recovery, than I had ever thought I could. Like I said earlier in the video, my symptoms started getting better in mid-February, and I had done a lot of really good work with my OCD therapy up until the point applications opened again. And again, I love what I do. I love performing. I love burlesque. So I decided, you know what? I want to go back again this year. I want to try. And I was fortunate enough to get accepted back into the festival, which I'm so grateful for. Which leads me finally to how my overall experience was this year at the festival. And I'll start by saying it was night and day. I had so much more fun this year because I was in a better mental state. I stayed longer this year, which you saw. I got to go with Rocky because he didn't actually get to make it last year, which was kind of sad. But I got to go with Rocky. He got to be part of the festival too. I saw some people that I had met at the festival from last year. I met a lot of new people. I saw so many people that I've just followed on social media in person for the first time, which is crazy, but it was so cool to meet some of them. I loved getting to explore Burlington more. I loved that my parents were able to come again this year. That was great. It was just such a more fun experience, a more positive experience this year, and it meant the world to me. Doing my act this year, the act that I chose to submit, which was Zuby Zoo, was also a pretty interesting experience too, because my mindset of this year was, okay, you're not new anymore. Let's show everybody else what you can do. Let's show that you know how to do something that's classic burlesque. I know that's kind of a weird way of putting it, but I wanted to prove my skills this year at the festival, and I feel like I did that with my fan dance act. It didn't go perfectly, but it still went very, very well. Again, I mentioned in a different vlog that my skirt got caught in my G-string when I was performing, but again, I'm proud of what I did, and I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of good footage, because that's another thing too. I wanted to have good footage to put on a dance reel, which now I'm sure I will. So if there's a point to all of this kind of rambly storytelling that I've done for the majority of this video, it's this. If you're ever in a bad mental health state, it's totally fine to take a break and to pull back from things that might be too hard in the moment. I've done that before too. But there's also a real power in being able to face your fears, to say, even though I'm not going to be at my best mental health wise, I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to try to kind of stand up to the bully in my brain, so to speak. I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it, but it's a good kind of emotional. I'm really proud of the work that I did last year at the festival and this year. And before I completely close out the video, I want to bring Rocky on because I want him to talk a little bit about his experience at the festival, his kind of last final thoughts too.
Hey everyone, so here we are, we're back home. We made it back after an absolutely incredible weekend, the likes of which I honestly never thought I'd get to experience. So first of all, thank you, Daisy, for letting me have my little final thoughts here. So I want to say, I really just, burlesque was something for me that was always kind of in the back of my mind that I wanted to try. but I always sort of just wrote it off as a pipe dream. Never really thought that I would be able to do it. But meeting and dating and becoming engaged to Daisy and seeing you work and seeing you start out in burlesque and grow so much as a performer has been more of an inspiration to me than I can express. And I'm grateful that that inspired me to give it a go and bring to life this burlesque idea that I had been kicking around for a while. And now I've performed it twice. That's 2 more times than I ever thought it would be performed. And I'm so happy, and I'm grateful to the Vermont Burlesque Festival for giving me the opportunity. And I'm grateful to everyone that was there for the peer review that gave me such incredible feedback. And because of that, now I get to sit down with this act and, you know, really scrutinize what worked and what didn't, and allow it to grow the way all of your acts have grown. And that just makes me so happy. And I can't wait to see where I'm going to go next with this and what I'm going to create next. All I know is I'm inspired. I'm inspired to keep going. I'm inspired to do more with this act and to create other ones. And you inspire me every day. And you inspired me every day this weekend. Seeing how hard you work and seeing your creativity just flow and grow and become these beautiful, just magnificent, so just creative and sexy and fun acts. And, you know, I've seen Zooby Zooby Zoo a couple of times now, and this was the best I've ever seen it, because you were so just confident and strong, and I loved seeing you interact with the audience this time around, and just I was so happy I could barely stay in my seat. I was just so full of that that's my baby energy.
I nodded my head there because that's exactly how I felt seeing him perform at the peer review. Just seeing you grow with your act too and see it evolve is a really, really great joy for me. Has been a great joy for me, will be a great joy for me. Hope that was clear, but yeah, it was so much fun seeing your act up on stage, and I felt so proud of you. And I'm so glad we had this experience together.
Yeah, me too.
It meant a lot to me. And what do you think? You want to go back next year?
I absolutely want to go back next year.
Yeah. If they'll have us.
Yes, if they'll have us. And whether we do individual acts again or whether we
perform together.
Yes. It's definitely an experience I would love to have again. So thank you, Vermont Burlesque Festival. Thank you to all the performers, everyone involved. And thank you, Daisy, for bringing me into this world.
Yes.
I'll be forever grateful, and I love you so much.
I love you too. I was going to do my final thoughts in a different edit, but figure now's as good of a time to say my very, very final thoughts. This was an amazing experience. Like Rocky said, I'm so glad I shared it with you. I'm so glad my parents got to see it again. I'm so grateful that burlesque is a big part of my life. I'm so grateful that I got to reconnect with people, meet new people, have this experience. And I want to say the biggest thank you to everybody, I do mean everybody, that made this as good as it was. That said, I think now I'm going to close out the vlog one final time. I'll just say thank you all so much again, and take care.
Thank you.